All right, let's talk about what everybody wants to hear, and that is Bills Chiefs in what might go down as the biggest sore loser move ever. I mean, what in the world was Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid doing from the moment that penalty infraction happened all the way through to the press conference was an absolute embarrassment. And it was a showcase of entitlement, I think, because to think that you shouldn't be called for a clear-cut infraction because the play that ensued after the infraction happened was awesome is perfect, Chiefs. A team that has had so many calls, iffy calls, go their way. And mind you, this isn't one of those iffy calls. This is a clean cut, black and white infraction. We're not talking about an iffy holding or pass interference, which I would sort of agree with their overall sentiment around how you don't want the refs influencing big games and big time moments on iffy-ish calls. But that's not what that was. Wasn't even close. And yes, the infraction happens right as the ball is snapped. That is when the penalty incurs. The refs have no idea that a great play is about to ensue, nor should it really matter. But I get that little bit of a sentiment, but absolutely ridiculous that Patrick Mahomes has to be restrained by virtually his entire offensive line, it looked like. And then the audacity to go up to Josh Allen, a man who has had a tough time getting a break in big time moments, to then go up to him and not even say good game, congratulations, nothing. No, to say, man, that was a bad call. And essentially infer that had that not happened, you guys are a bunch of losers again. Unbelievable. Absolutely unreal. I think it shows more of an unraveling of the Chiefs dynasty and team that we know. I think that the sentiment right now, we've talked about it briefly, is that Travis Kelce is probably his last year. Maybe not, but that seems to be the overall sentiment that you're getting. And I think this sort of highlights it and the frustration of not allowing him to have one of the better plays of his career, if not one of the coolest plays of his career, something that would end up on the Hall of Fame highlight tape in the last year, wanting to win it big. They're struggling to find their footing in this new kind of era of Chiefs football. And there's a lot of pressure there because this is a duo in Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes who are the best, some of the best to ever do it. They're going to be compared to the likes of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and how they kind of can handle the rocky waters of making transitions to new teams. Because we saw the Patriots do it, where they went from teams that had little to no offensive weapons to teams that had insane offensive weapons across the board to teams that had a middling offensive weapons. Like, can they kind of ride those waves? We'll see. But as far as this infraction goes, this wasn't even like one of those. This is one where the ref isn't even really trying to get you here, because this is one that you were taught from the moment you start playing football to check with the official if you're lined up. It's as simple as that. You literally just look over and check, and they'll tell you, no, you need to back up an inch or you need to come up a little bit further. They'll give it to you. Now, I get Andy Reid's some of his point around, they generally warn you on those types of things. Yeah, if you're the receiver lined up, like out by the numbers closest to the sideline official, he might give you the heads up if you don't check, but you're supposed to check. The ownership is on you to check with him, but that's not what happened. Tony is lined up in a bunch formation on the inside, close to the line. He's very far away from the sideline official. So it's on him to look over and get guidance as to whether or not he is lined up correctly. And he wasn't even close. And then to think because something awesome happened after the infraction that you should get that penalty or you shouldn't have that penalty incurred. Unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. What are we talking about here? Bengals fans and Eagles fans would like a word, Patrick Mahomes, because that you've gotten the benefit of the doubt on a lot of ticky-tacky stuff in the Super Bowl, the biggest game on the planet. So let's maybe pipe down a little bit here. Just absolutely unreal. So that was ridiculous. It's a bad loss, I think, for the Chiefs, because it once again is another kind of mile marker in this season that just shows that they're struggling to grasp who they are going to be, where they're going to find other options outside of Kelce. Rice is developing somewhat nicely, but that's sort of the only piece right now outside of Kelce in the passing game. And what this new era of football is going to look like in Kansas City. And I think that's what we're seeing, a bit of an unraveling under that weight of the pressure that is ensuing in Kansas City. So yeah, I took that as a little bit of an unraveling sign, a sign that it's probably Kelce's last season, maybe, and wanting a giant play like that in his last season type of deal. Big momentum swing potentially for their season. We'll see what occurs going forward, but just an unbelievable, unreal, kind of reaction to the correct call, which is the craziest part. So that's about all I got on the recap show. We'll be back on Friday to break down some of these lines. There's some interesting ones, like the Chargers Raiders -3 Raiders jumps right off the board. I'm not running to the window to bet Raiders right now. We'll see where that number moves a little bit, but Stanley's probably out. We'll see what happens there, but should be a good podcast on Friday. Thanks for stopping by to hear some opinions. And as always,